door, Alice, so we can keep it quiet, but we'll keep the door open so it doesn't be too hot in here.
Yeah.
All right, well, my name is Andrea, and I work here at the Loudoun Chamber, and we're so glad to have all of you here. We are recording this if you need to go back and check it out later or share it with a friend. It'll be on our YouTube page and we'll put it on social media, so you can share the link out. But I am the Vice President of Communications and Events here at the Loudoun Chamber. I've been here for 12 years. And we've got a team of 11, so if you have any questions about any SBA stuff, you can come to me. And you can come to me, come to any of our team, and we can help you out. But I put a few of the qualification sheets on your chairs, just so you can check those out and you can share those with the person next to you, or I can create more later if you'd like, but those are on our website as well. So I'm gonna go through and have our panelists introduce themselves. First, we have John Lee from GAM. Can you introduce yourself for us?
Absolutely. As you mentioned, John Lee. GAM is graphics and marketing, and we're a full-service commercial print, design, and communications agency. We've been around now for 49 years, 1976. So when I think back, I was very, very young at that time. So I've been with them for 13 months. And I say that because the significance of that is that when we submitted the nomination for this award, I was just coming on board with the company, and so I gave a fresh perspective on that. And lo and behold, we actually, we're a finalist and so on. So I'm just very glad to be here. I'm very humbled to be here. I hope I can provide some insight. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Julissa Kendall. I'm one of the owners of Cork and Peg Tours. I'm also responsible for the marketing and business development. We were the proud recipients of the Destination Business of the Year Award, which felt really great because, similar to John, I think this might have been our 8th month in operation as new owners, and again, such a confidence booster, such a sigh of relief that we were doing things right, and it's been great ever since.
Yes.
My name is Chris Suarez. I am the Director of Operations at Lost Barrel Brewing. I've been with Lost Barrel for 9 months now. Before that, I was actually General Manager at Bear Chase Brewing Company. Was with Bear Chase since the day they opened the doors, and we were able to, in 2023, we were able to take the trifecta home that night. So
Small Business of the Year and
Small Business Destination.
Destination.
And then
my big community leadership awards after that too. Something like that. Cool.
Awesome.
All right, Christine.
Hi, I'm Christine Gutrina. I have a company called College App Help Desk and also Essay Cure. I help students with their, obviously, college applications, but also graduate and professional students who are looking to apply, or middle school students trying to get into local private high schools. So I was a 2023 winner at the table next to Chris.
And we thought she'd be great because she helps people fill out applications in general. So we were like, that's perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being with us and taking the time. We will have time for Q&A at the end. So if you want to write down your questions or just think of what you might want to ask at the end, and we'll have some time to mingle at the end too. So you can grab one of us if you have any questions. All right. First off, I'm going to start with our first question. Thinking back, what was the most challenging part of the application process for you, and what did you do to overcome it, or how did you overcome it? And you can start.
Yeah. The most challenging part for me was whether I thought we could be eligible for this award, whether we were on the right track, whether we're good enough. So a lot of doubt, a lot of, is this something that we're going to have a chance to win? Because every time I come to the breakfast events, every time I meet Loudoun Chamber member companies and folks, I'm always impressed with everything you guys are doing. So I was just quite frankly unsure whether we were going to be eligible and be a winner or be a finalist. So that mental block was just one of the things that I had to get over and just put forth our best effort on the application.
Yeah, you did a good job. Julissa, what do you think?
Yeah, I think similar to that, we were so new in our business and we weren't sure, really, literally, I think I called the chamber office many a time. Hey, is this cool? But I mean, truly, as a very shy person in general, I was like, I don't know, what am I going to say? Will they even accept this as like a credible application? But, as a business owner, you have to do that. You have to be your own champion. You have to put your needs and champion your own, champion your business, make sure your closed mouths don't get fed. So I really thought that this was a good opportunity for us. And I was like, we should pull through, persevere, and here we
Well, I think the biggest challenge for some business owners is we hear a lot from people that, oh, well, I don't know how to like brag about myself, or I don't know how to, and that's where it can be helpful to have people help you, a friend, family, other team member. But it is a challenge for some people to say what you're doing well, because all you're seeing is like the nitty gritty of your books and things like that. So that's hard to overcome.
Yes.
Thank you, Chris.
I would agree with both things that they just said. Really asking, trying to figure out if we're capable of being able to be honored to be a finalist or not is a big part of it. The other part was kind of going along with what Andrea just said, is the asking for testimonials. So I was I'm always on the shy side of that, and asking someone to be like, hey, can you write a letter about how awesome I am? It's a hard ask, and so that was one of the harder ones for me to. I think that was always my last stage of the applications, is getting that testimonials in, because I always hated asking for that letter. So.
And it is a really important part of your application, because sometimes the judges can be between two people and they'll, check out the testimonials or something like that and be able to make that decision with those. And so they're important to have, I'm sure, for your business in general, but also for the application. So thank you.
Yeah, Chris stole mine. The asking someone, and I took it one step further, not just asking them to write something, but asking them to get on video and give me a testimonial was terrifying for me. And I was really surprised how many people stepped up to do it and were happy to do it. And I have those videos now as kind of a, when you have one of those days, you can go back to that file and look at things to give you a little bit of boost. So it's nice to have that.
Yeah. And you can submit more than what we ask in these applications. In your marketing materials, you can add them in video, things like that. So be creative with how you share those too. Great, thank you. And Christina, I'm going to start with you for the next one. Beyond the obvious, what specific areas of your business did you focus on highlighting in your application to make you stand out?
So I didn't come up with this. I got it from a chamber member who kind of took me under his wing when I first joined the chamber. And the advice I got from that person was, let the numbers tell your story. And I had never done that before, and it was amazing. It was amazing what those numbers say. So as you're filling out your application, look at your numbers and let your numbers tell the story, because numbers can tell a story in ways that words can't.
And judges really do look at those numbers too, because some people who are judging, they may be numbers people. Some people might have their heartstrings be pulled, by something like a story. So it's good to have more of a well-rounded application too. And so that's a good point with the numbers. Chris, do you have anything to add to that?
I think for Bear Chase, we really focus on the community aspect and what we do with the community within Loudoun County, and really focused on the donations that we did and the partnerships we had.
Yeah, COVID response was a big part of that too. Yeah, it's great. Wilson?
I think for us, we were, again, so new, we were like, how do we quantify like our impact, or how do we quantify like who we are? And for us, it was, because we were new owners of a very well-established business, we were more so focused on, let's talk about our future. Like, let's talk about our plans. Let's talk about the story that we want to have and the people that we want to be, the culture that we want our team to live in and work in. And that really, I think, shined a light on who we are and, like, hey, this is us. How you liked it. I knew one.
That's cool.
Yeah, similar to Chris, I would say that we focused on giving back to the community, and we have a subsidiary. It's a 501c3 charitable organization. We host an annual golf tournament to raise funds through sponsorships and through players. And this, with the proceeds, we're able to give back to communities, the families in need, help pay their rent, help pay for food, assistance, life assistance in general. And that is something that is a huge part of, I think, the application. The Loudoun Chamber, their mission and vision is to provide a high quality of life in the community. And by giving back, I think we wanted to focus on that and how we're doing that as well.
That's cool. Thank you. So this is similar to how you guys have answered this last question, but any other things you would add on how you quantify your impact and your success? Maybe some specific metrics or a story you shared. I don't know if anybody wants to start with that. Anything additional?
Kind of going back to for Bear Chase, we were able to donate quite a bit. a lot of the programs we had were able to get back to it, and so we were able to give numbers and kind of like we just mentioned before, is I think just be able to quantify it with actual numbers. Say, hey, we do all this stuff for the community, then back it up with the support of that.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say give them things. If you have takeaways that you can let the judges look at, have something on the table that they can, whether it's one of your advertisements or something that you give away that they can use. I would have that out, and I would bring one for each judge. So I don't know how many that would be. It was like 8.
Around,
10.
yeah, under 8, yeah, so 8 or under. And you can
Yeah.
drop those off ahead of time, but you can also submit all of that. Anything that's virtual, you can submit to. So don't feel pressured to drop it off, but it is helpful to see things like marketing materials and
Yeah,
advertisements
if they can
virtually.
hold it, I think it makes a big difference. And,
Yeah.
and they were, most of them were very kind. I gave each of them a copy of my book, and that cost me some money.
Yeah.
And most of them left it behind, and I could come back and pick them back up. So.
Yeah, it's good for people to see tangibly, especially if you make something or, have a product. Some really good photos can totally suffice. You don't have to drop off actual product, but it is nice for people to see what you work on. You guys have anything?
I know for us, it was such a big compliment that when we took over our business, our entire team, who were with the prior owner, stayed with us. And that was a big deal for us because they had no reason to trust us, but they did. And they heard our mission. And I thought that was really important because, they can believe in us. Hopefully the judges can too. We maintained our all 5-star reviews, which was wonderful as totally new business owners, not knowing a lot about wine. It was super great having that, competitive edge. Like, we've maintained our civility and we're really proud of that. Like, you would be shocked that civility is that a good, it's a great thing. It's a great thing because we haven't geared our ship too strongly. It's steady, it's the way it is, and our commitment to hospitality has been, committed and established, and hopefully great.
Yeah, reviews are huge. Those are really nice to include in your marketing materials. That would be really nice to include snippets of those, any kind of reviews.
So just quickly, for metrics, I would focus on your strengths. Focus on those areas of your business where you've shown areas of improvement, or you really just hit it out of the ballpark. So for example, if you're very strong in social media, if you have increased the following, if you've been able to really get out there and kind of build awareness, focus on things that are your strengths. It's going to be different for every organization. We focused on our donations and philanthropic areas, but really look inward to what your strengths are and focus the message around that.
That's great. And another thing I would add is don't be shy about sharing about something that you overcame as a challenge, because every business has challenges, and just sharing how you overcame that challenge is a really good way of showing kind of what kind of business owner you are. Because, if you have a challenge you've overcome and you can share about that, then that shows that you're prepared for the future. You do your homework, you're prepared to reach out to others if you need help. And I think all those really show judges that you're an established, credible business owner too. Even though that sounds kind of funny to think about, like I've heard judges be like, yeah, and they shared this and that was really cool. I mean, we don't judge as staff, it's other, members of the community, but we hear kind of later on some of the things that they mentioned. So that's one thing I wanted to add too, because we all have things we have to overcome, right? No one's a perfect business owner. All right, Chris, I'm going to start with you on this next one. For those who struggled with a particular section, like a financial overview or community involvement, what advice would you give on how to approach that effectively?
If you're struggling, I would, going back to like when you're in school, take a break from it and then come back at it.
Yeah.
That would be the easiest way to do it. I mean, everything needs to be answered. You need to make sure your application is complete. And if you are struggling on the section, there's multiple sections. Go work on your testimonials. Pull some numbers up. Get some reviews. Come back to that project. Would be the easiest way I would do it.
Definitely, we have over a month still till it's due, so a little over a month. So there's plenty of time to start it. You can save your work and come back. So that's a good advice. The question again, just so one of you can answer next, is struggling with a particular section. What advice would you have?
I mean, just generally be kind to yourself. You are your biggest critic, but like that's okay. And nobody knows your story better than you. So, like Chris said, take your time, and the authenticity will show when you give it the time and space it deserves. So I thought that was really helpful for me.
Definitely don't procrastinate.
Yeah, we get most applications are finished right at like 4 p.m. when they're due, so that's okay. It's just,
Yeah, I would move that deadline up a week on your calendar, because it's pretty obvious when you're reading it, which ones got thrown together at 3:30.
Yeah, just quickly, I would just say that the areas where you have trouble on the application, talk to employees, talk to partners, talk to stakeholders involved, and they have so much different insight into the process, and they may have a perspective that you've not thought about. And if you really have a great champion, client, customer, they can provide wonderful insight into that, outside-in perspective and give you some ideas for focus areas. So, I mean, it may be a challenge to you because it's hard to brag about yourself, but other people there are lots of champions for you, I'm sure.
And I'm sure everyone has somebody like this in their life where there's like a really big, champion or like mama bear, somebody who's gonna be like that person who's like, no, stop talking like that. And they're the perfect person too to help hype you up and be like, what, did you remember this? Did you remember that? Maybe it's your best friend, maybe it's your spouse, partner, whatever. Yeah. Because maybe it's your mom, whatever, or dad, because I think it's important to get that outside perspective from someone who is truly your big champion in life too. All right, so next question, and Julissa, I'm gonna start with you. Did you seek any outside help or feedback on your application? If so, what kind of help was the most valuable?
I did not, and I really could have, but it was such a personal experience for us. Like at that time, it was just my husband and I doing everything, really. So, who would have known more than the two of us? Mm-hmm. But what I did do, and I did discover, is that the Chamber has a YouTube channel with prior finalists who do their video, experience. And that was great because, you could see what they were focusing on, what they were talking about. And, it's good insight in like what the judges want to hear. So that was pretty helpful for me.
That's a really good point. Yeah, all of our past Small Business Award finalists from the past probably 10 years are up on YouTube. So, Chris, what about you? Feedback on your application from an outside source?
I guess it was technically an outside. We had a marketing firm that we had, and they helped really do a lot of the finishing touches on the application itself. So we had a little bit of outside help, but we didn't go outside of our organization on that top of that.
Yeah, cool.
I did not. I should have.
Not necessarily. You won, obviously. Yeah. John, did you guys?
We didn't really go outside of our company and organization, but we just had to catalog a lot of different things to submit for the nomination. So one of the areas that they ask is, do you won any awards previously? So we just had to catalog those and make sure that we had every single one that we could include in there.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, great thing to point out. And it's good for any application you're filling out to have that information. And even if you don't become a finalist this year, you will be able to go back and kind of touch on your application again, and you won't have to fill the whole thing out again with the new system that we use. So, and outside feedback help, we ask this question because there are people who use PR firms and people to help, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people, I know everyone's really busy, especially some are solopreneurs, people who don't have a big team or any marketing people. So don't be shy to do that if you have the resources to do so, but also, like we said, family and friends could help look over your application, things like that. It doesn't mean it has to be something you pay for. But once again, there is no shame in doing it. It's just some people do that, and I think it is sometimes very valuable to get an outside set of eyes. I wanted to ask also, what's one piece of advice you wish someone had given you before you started your application?
Is it too early to say don't? Last minute, I'm sorry.
Don't do last minute, yeah. John, what do you think?
I would say that think of it as a long-term project, and I wish someone had told me that. We actually set about to meet on a regular basis, fill out the nomination, get all the information together, but start early. Go through and go set up a regular time every single week that you can just get together and focus on this, maybe for a half hour or for an hour. And that just kind of really concentrates your efforts. I wish we had someone tell us, you don't have to get it all done in one fell swoop. save it for next week, save it for the, but you gotta, build out that schedule from whatever period that is out, from the nomination deadline, submission. So I would say just, take your time at it.
Yeah, for sure. Chris, anything?
I would just say, don't wait till last minute. This is the biggest thing.
Christine?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna kick the dead horse. Move that deadline up a week on your calendar because really don't put it off.
Yeah, and
So much more stress.
you do sometimes think of things you want to submit in your marketing materials later on, and so it's good to give yourself a little space there to, submit some stuff and then say, okay, actually I want to add this, and maybe I want to add a document with all my reviews and things like that. Give yourself some time to fill that out. Yeah.
Since you're all talking about timing.
Yeah.
Can you say about how many hours you spent producing the application?
I honestly don't know if I have that. A while. Not like less than 40 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Chris.
I was gonna say maybe 3 all told,
Three
but
days.
not at one, not 3 hours because you can't really do it in 3 hours because you can't go back with a clear eye and look at what you wrote if there's not been enough time in between when you wrote it and when you're reviewing it. So you have to give yourself that time in between to do a thorough edit.
I gave myself a week, and between the time that I put my son to bed, the time I went to bed, that was like my application time. So I gave myself like, okay, this is when you're thinking about your application. So that helped me organize like application mode for me.
Yeah.
I would say, I would ballpark it at 4.5 hours for us. I was new to the company, so I was just learning a lot of things about it. So it was a great onboarding experience for me as well. So it would take a little longer for us.
That makes sense, yeah. Since you probably had to gather some information you didn't know off the top of your head.
Yes.
Yeah, some people can whip out that bragging sheet for themselves like pretty easy, and some people are really good at advocating for themselves and all that, but not everyone's good at that. So I think if you know yourself and you know how long it's going to take you to figure out, okay, I know I have reviews, so check. I know I need more of this and more of that. I would go through and kind of make a list of like what might take you longer. Filling out some of the questions might take the longest amount of time, but then there's some uploading things, the documents won't take you too long. So if you have them, right? Any other advice? General advice, how about we do that before we have a couple more questions too, and we'll do Q&A, but any general advice before we move on to the next question?
It's okay if the questions scare you. Who would have thought of the questions, if it's your first time seeing them, and like that's fine, nobody's asking those questions up to me on a regular basis. So I was like, you know what, that's fine. Like I never would have thought to think of that, and it was a good exercise for me in like understanding my business, and I'm talking about my business, and I use it as an exercise to like, this is how I'm going to talk about the working tag, and this is what things that we're focused on, and this is our company culture. So use it as an exercise of like, this is a good exercise for you to utilize in the future.
It's very true.
I'd say that start with the basic steps, right? Which is, are you eligible for this award? Which award do you want to go for? Make sure you meet all those criteria and make sure that you are applying for the right award that's appropriate for your company or organization.
Yeah, for sure. And you can choose which categories. A lot of people do end up they qualify for multiple categories. So just kind of see what that is. If you need to call us and ask questions about it, feel free. But pick one that you feel like fits you best, even for this year. Maybe next year there could be another one. If you aren't a finalist, you can apply again. If you do win, we ask that you wait 3 years to reapply to give other people a chance. But in terms of the categories, you do choose your own. And all the qualifications are written on those sheets, but if you have questions about them, like I said, just give us a call. We want to make sure it's very clear to you. All right, next question. Regardless of winning, how has being a Loudoun Small Business Award finalist or winner impacted your business? Credibility, marketing, networking, employee morale, etc.
All of the above.
Yeah.
For Bear Chase, it was great. We were able to brag about it quite often. I don't like to brag about myself at all, but it was nice to, I think we were the first ones to get all 3. And so it was kind of a nice little bragging point for us. And so we put it all over social media and every which way we could. And made sure the little trophies were well established and shown and broadcasted out that we had that. So it was a nice little ability to be some humble brags.
For sure.
it's a wonderful talking piece when you're at a chamber event. You know, that was my introduction. And won the Vision Award, and it was great because it's a low, you know, everyone's asking you questions like, oh, how did you do that? When did you? It's wonderful to talk. Even if it's a finalist thing, it's great. Yeah.
It's a rocket boost for confidence, for sure, and morale in the company. I mean, this is one of the largest chamber of commerces, I think, in this area for sure. And it's also a 5-star chamber of commerce by the U.S. Chamber Association.
Thank you.
And so, and then all the companies that are in this chamber, I mean, to win is just a testament to, you know, the things that our company did to really enable the high quality of life in Loudoun and to really give back to the community. So it wasn't just our achievements, but it was just again, a rocket boost of confidence and morale.
Yeah, that's great. You know, Christine, would you add anything to that?
No, I
Okay.
chose all of you.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I know I love going into different places and seeing the trophy, even if they won 10 years ago. The trophy is like in the little case. I saw it at Magnolia's in Percival last week, and it's like at the front of their restaurant. So you know, I like seeing it, of course, because we love putting on this event as staff. We love seeing people who work so hard just get to be rewarded. And on that note, too, being a finalist, you do get a trophy also. So you get so much promotion even as a finalist. So even if you don't win, it's honestly like somewhat equal in a way, because not obviously not fully, but you do get a lot of recognition as a finalist. And so I would recommend, you know, not being disappointed too if you don't win, because I think, I mean, obviously it's fine, but you get a ton of promotion. I mean, you know, we want to promote you as much as possible. And so we give you graphics if you become a finalist for the People's Choice Award voting. We give you graphics saying I'm a finalist and just celebrating yourself. So we give you all these things to help you as tools to promote yourself, even if it doesn't. You can share our post. You don't have to share it about yourself even if you don't want to.
Mhm.
We'll post about it, you share it, like, look, I'm a finalist. So
We took
We give
our
you many
trophy on
ways.
tour, which was super fun.
yeah, we try to make it as easy as possible for you guys to get that promotion. There's press releases, things like that. So we can talk about that more a bit. And the last question I have before we go to some Q&A and some final thoughts would be, how have you leveraged your finalist status to grow or promote your business? I know we already talked about when you meet people, it's like something that you can share, but is there anything else that you've used in maybe marketing materials, things like that? Christine?
Yeah, I put that sticker everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, we give you a graphic if you're a finalist, a little circle you can put in your signature on your website. And so finalists and winners get those. So those are nice to add to your website as an accolade. Chris, anything?
The other thing, I mean, it's opened up some extra doors for me personally within the with Visit Loudoun, and I just became a board member there. I think that all this is kind of trickled down from being able to take those awards home in 23.
Yeah.
Just able to really, you know, promote it everywhere. Again, Christine, I totally agree with her. Use leverage it, you know, promote it, tell the world, get a megaphone, go on the rooftop and shout it. So yeah, every single which way and every opportunity you have to promote it is amazing.
That's great. You anything else to add?
Well, what I was going to say is, you know, not all of my clients, my students, they're not all from Loudoun County. And so when parents see that, it gives them confidence that I'm not a fly-by-night company.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important for me to have.
Yeah, credibility from your local community goes a long way. I
Goes a
think
long
sometimes
way
people
across
think,
this
oh,
whole country.
who cares? But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's important as like that locally you're getting accolades so that people who know you or
Maybe
your
I can
neighbors.
trust it, yeah.
Exactly.
So it's helped me pick up students in Colorado and Washington and Georgia and all
Really
over, so.
That's great.
Our entire business is dependent on being and having local partners. So to be awarded a wonderful, you know, award like this by our local chamber speaks volumes to our credibility, to our commitment to our community, and
That's great. Before we go to Q&A, I do want to touch on People's Choice Award voting. That's the one. Yeah. People's Choice Award voting is it's its own category that you can win. And some people get confused by this just because it's not what you applied for. But we do give the award out and announce who won. And this is the only popular vote category. All the rest are they're judged by judges. This is purely by voting. So this is a great category for anybody who has a big email list, A lot of friends and family. We only let you use the IP address for one vote, so people can't go overboard. But if you have friends and family that can vote for you and you share it on social media, it's a 1 week voting, and the platform be shared on all the social media. That's usually about right when we announce the finalists. It's that first week. It's a Thursday to Thursday, about the first week of February, or September. So we'll be announcing the finalists then, and we'll announce that it's open. You will receive if you're a finalist, you'll receive the graphic that says, vote for me, I'm a finalist for People's Choice Awards. You'll have a graphic to use in your email, in your social media. So you'll also get an Instagram story graphic too. So we try to make it as easy as possible for you to share that you are a finalist and to vote for you for that 1 week, 7 days that it'll be open. And that's a fun category, the people that win sometimes, most of the time I would say are very shocked that they won, but it's cool because sometimes they don't win other categories, and it's nice that they can still walk away a winner in that category. Now that we're going to Q&A, while we're still on this topic, does anybody have questions about the People's Choice Award? Raise your hand if you do. No, don't be shy. Yeah.
Is it one vote per person or one vote per person per day during that week?
Per person, so it's an IP address. So it's just, you can do it on your phone, you can do it on your computer, I think, right? It's like, I think I can just, I tracks to devices too. But Grafton, you're looking like, do you know if it's the same device?
That would be different.
We came up with this one.
Different devices.
Two devices.
Different devices.
Different devices, yes. So you can vote on.
One vote per device.
Yes. So it's best if you kind of get a plan together of who you would send it to. If you have an email list, it's, just be prepared to do that. Like I said, I give you the graphic to use. So you just have to plop that in there and send it out to people. You can spam people as much as you want for 1 week. Any other questions about People's Choice Award?
When will that vote be held again?
So we'll announce the finalists the first week of September. And so we'll open it. It's a Thursday to Thursday. I forget the exact date, but it's that first, I think it's right after Labor Day. So it'll be open and you guys will receive the information that you're a finalist before we announce it on social media. So that's how that works. Any other questions for People's Choice Award? All right, so let's open up for Q&A. Who has a question?
How many employees do each of you have?
Christine? One? You? Yeah. So,
Bear Chase, we just had over 100. With part-time, with actual employees, we're over 100, but with the full-time category, it drops down to, I think it was like 50.
Yeah.
That we have.
2 full-time then, but now 8 full-time.
And we have 20 full-time equivalents.
yeah, there's such a wide range too of types of businesses. That's a lot of people who have like 1 person, 2 people, and some people that have more, but there's a wide range. Next question. Yeah, Grafton.
How did y'all determine what you submitted online versus what you might have printed and brought in?
For Bear Chase, we submitted everything online except for beer, and then we just brought that in.
How do you compete with that?
It is not required to bring any bribery to the judges. They don't take that into account in their scorecard, but
Save that for later.
Should we buy beer even if we're not?
depends on your category and who the judges are, but no, we do not encourage rioting but they've already done their scorecard before they come in. So
How many beers
they can
per
adjust.
judge?
The upcon category that you're talking about. That is, I don't know who's judging that yet, but yeah, so don't feel pressured to bring stuff in person, but you are able to do that and drop it off. You can drop it off ahead of time. You can drop it off the day everything's due, whatever works for you. So you can do it afterwards, I guess, but maybe don't do that because we're closed on Friday that week, and I know not that week in August, so no one will be here on that day. But no pressure though. I just want to highlight that it's not like you have to just bring a bunch of stuff for everyone. And Caitlin, you had a question, right?
Yeah, as for Christine, but we just submit like a video testimony, like a written testimony? That's a good question. I have a lot of written testimonials. I just, was it a requirement for there to be
The
a
year
video?
that a video was required the year that you applied. It's not
Okay.
anymore, but
So maybe that's why it terrified me, because I had testimonials to submit, but I had to go out and get that. I did not have it. And that would seem like a big ask. But just remember, most people were really happy to help me, and they'll be happy to help you too. You'll be surprised how many people want to help you win this.
And I would really encourage using video if you can. It really helps the judges see the personality of your business and things like that, so.
You had mentioned about listing awards you've received. Are those industry awards, chamber awards? What type of awards are you talking about?
Anything you think is applicable. I would say things that are about your business in general. And, we do have the community leadership awards that are separate. So if it's about you personally, maybe you want to apply for that as well, which those open in the fall, in October. So that's a different kind of awards, more focused on you as a community leader and your business as a community leader. But if it's about an accolade, industry ones are perfect. Community ones are great too. Would you guys add anything to that? Any other?
I think I used my husband's prior career award because he was acting as a leader then, and it transpired very well into our current role as being our ambassador for our county, being a leader.
Oh, that's great, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense for sure. Rebecca, and then I'll go back.
Okay, for the, I guess, sharing about your business part, do you think it's better to focus on more like a recent time period or more like since inception, like the business story as a whole?
I would say probably a little bit more recent, but if it ties in, then it's something like long-term, it's like a story that kind of started when you started the business up and you can kind of finish that story up now with more modern stuff, that would be good, but I would say more recent.
I think for us too, because we, purchased a, successful established company, that was relevant to why we chose to buy the business and, where we're taking it, what's the next chapter and, where we see it going, what it's done, how great work is it done, and, what we're doing in the future. So, yeah, a little bit of both.
I would just say that we focused, one of the things that is a tenet of our business is customer service. And we have, processes in place, methodologies we follow. We want to make sure that every client that we work with has a great customer experience. So we actually put that into the award nomination process. And it's something that we started with way back when and have been implementing. And so we currently, to this day, we really pride ourselves on customer service. And it shows with the clients that we have.
Anything else you guys forgot? Oh, Mary's next.
Oh, it's okay. On the video, I'm sure we don't want it to be 5-minute videos. So is there a suggestion amount of time for a video? 10 seconds, 30 seconds?
That's a good question. It could be a couple of minutes.
They put a limit on it, was my recollection.
Yeah.
I think they do put a limit on it.
I'll check for you to see what this year's application says, but 60 seconds, okay. And in your marketing materials, you can upload more if you like. But yeah, you're right. If it's too long, the judges probably won't finish watching the whole thing. I would do maybe short clips and you can upload them individually. There's as much space as you want to upload files. So I would encourage you to keep it short and sweet, but under 2 minutes probably. Yeah, and it's maybe separately total. If it lets you upload that, then that would work, but we can talk about that, see how it works. We have a new system this year that allows you to upload everything and then come back and edit it before you submit it. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, so it's a new system that hopefully will make it smoother for filling things out. Yes.
John, you and Chris, you have a number of employees to draw upon, right? I think you said, or maybe John, you said that you approached your employees for some feedback. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what you did, or did I imagine that?
I definitely went to many different employees in the company just to have them read over the entire application process or application that I had prepared, or to help with specific sections. And I even went back to them and I said, hey, listen, you know what? I'm scratching my head on this part. Can you help me? What do we have here? So it's a really good opportunity to bring everyone in the company on board and make them all feel like we're putting our combined efforts to win this nomination. So I think it was a really good morale boost and really connecting the employees together.
Fine, great.
We did not go to our line level staff. We use our management route level individuals to help fill out.
Yeah, it's probably good to get multiple perspectives too on your business, because you miss something and someone else can catch it and, oh, you didn't talk about this, or things like that.
And on the follow-up, did you two go to any friends or trusted people and say, hey, I'm doing this, what are your thoughts, take a look, help me out, because to get some perspective?
I don't think I did, unfortunately. Again, we were just so in the thick of it. It would have taken so much longer to explain what we were doing. And I was just like, you know what, I got it. And truly, it was an exercise in myself to like see how much I know my business and I understand my business. So frankly, it was a great thing for me to just, you know, do myself and really take over that.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I didn't.
It's okay. Yeah. And, you know, I think sometimes it depends on what's going on in your life too. You know, if there's a lot going on, you may be like, I'm blanking. So yeah, don't be shy to ask friends, but it's no big deal if you don't.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because this all happens in the middle of my busiest season.
Yeah.
But I did have to approach parents who are my clients to ask for the testimonials. So in that regard, I guess I was reaching out to some people and getting some feedback on, you know, you're always surprised with the testimonials because they tell you what you're doing well and they tell you what they kind of wish that was happening. So you get a lot of good feedback on your business by asking for testimonials or feedback.
Yeah. Thank you. Next question.
I think there was one back there, wasn't it?
On the back.
Oh, no, I was just gonna mention, Julie asked Bridget from Williams Gap
Yes.
for a letter of recommendation, kind of what you said.
Yeah.
It was a letter of recommendation as part of the process, but I remember the letter that she wrote gave you a lot of ideas about like what we could put into the application.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so that was very helpful, getting that letter.
And to Christine's point, October or September, very busy time for us. So we were like floored that she even got it out. Like I think it was that same night. I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. It shows how, you know, how well we're doing things or how much she appreciates our, you know, partnership. And again, it was a big ego boost. I'm like, wow, I do that well. Thank you. It's good. Yeah.
It's a good exercise for your business in general, probably. Other questions? Yeah.
Is there a preferred length to the answers in the short answer section?
There's a character limit on some of them.
No, I didn't notice it on.
Okay, yeah, let me pull it up after this and check, but, you know, I didn't want to make it too short when we made this new application because sometimes I think it's just really hard to.
It's harder to write shorter.
Yeah, but let me look at it after this.
Yeah, I didn't see anything pop up when I started typing. So
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, we'll check it out.
Essays to write.
There was a character count when I filled mine out, and I found it really helpful to just put everything in Google Docs because it's just so easy to see your character count there as opposed to in Word.
Yeah, you can highlight it, I think, and see how many characters it is. But yeah, we'll check on that. That's a good question because it's a new system, so I want to make sure you guys know about that. Yeah, one more question. Yeah.
So for a nonprofit, it says that there's a separate application. So is that in addition or is just separate? Is it judged the same way?
It is. Okay. Yeah, it's judged based on that application, which is almost exactly like the other one. Just the questions are slightly different because the qualifications are different for nonprofits. So it's a good question. Yeah. Yeah.
Who's judging?
Yeah, good question. So we've got a lot of board members are judges. It's a sponsor of the category. They are our judge. So almost all banks are category judges. They get to help suggest other chamber members to be part of their committee. But we assign a couple board members and we try to make sure that's well-rounded and nobody that's in your competition would be in that category. Nobody who has anything to do with that category is judging. So we have nobody that's nonprofit that's applying for anything or would be any competition would be judging nonprofits, for instance. And for service, the service categories are some of our most challenging ones to win, and but we split it up into two actually, consumer service and professional service, and last year, and that has been helpful too. But those categories, we make sure that no one in there is a competitor. So we try to be mindful of that, and so that's kind of how it works. So they're all chamber members, community members, other business people. Other questions?
I have one other tip. I would encourage you to write your application not in the application.
Yeah.
Because if something happens to your computer and it crashes, you don't want to lose, you'll never be able to get it back. You know, that sentence will never be as great as it was the first time. So write it somewhere more sound and then copy and paste it into your application.
And a general comment, if you don't win, keep applying.
Yeah.
We applied many years in a row, and it was fantastic that we won. But it's just one of those things you have to keep at it. And every time you do it, your application will get better, right? You'll see how the winners were selected, why they might have been selected, and that could play into what you want to change in the next year for your company, organization.
Yeah. And if you don't apply, your chances of winning are
Yeah.
So
exactly.
definitely apply.
And like we said, it takes a few hours, but it's a good professional exercise anyways. So getting those reviews and kind of reflecting on that has seemed to be such a benefit for business people.
It's like an eye opener to your business as well. Like you start thinking about things you've done and why and how and what led you to certain things, and it kind of makes you really think of and analyze your own business a little bit too. So
when we looked at the community service part, we were of course, involved in our community, but it really made us reevaluate, like, how are we, serving our community, and how are we making it more of a regular routine instead of, just that. So like really lean into any of those opportunities that you see, because it could be a really good opportunity.
And anytime you harp on community service, I think it is important to try to quantify it if the best you can, even if it's hours that you spend. You may not always have been some person who donates $100,000, but you may have had a lot of hours. Maybe some people pay their employees to go volunteer, things like that. So whatever it is for you, try to quantify the best you can for getting involved in the community. It may just be part of your general description of your company, but it's nice to add any numbers you can throughout all of your application.
Are you able to find out who nominated you so you can thank them?
Oh yeah, we can look it up for you. Okay. Yeah, we actually were just talking. We're going to send an email if the person that nominated the finalist. We're going to send them an email and be like, thank you for doing that. Make sure to congratulate them because we have all that information, so we can check it out. I can look after this if you want. Sometimes it's multiple people, but it also can just be you. So it doesn't have to be extra people. Any other questions? Yasmin, did I cover anything that you want to add at the end?
I just say go for it, honestly, and don't be intimidated by the other finalists in the categories. It may feel daunting. I know Jalissa has a great example. She was going up against salamanders. I had no chance of this, but she went for it. She knows her business. She knows your brand. You know what you're doing for your community, and just go full speed ahead. And I wish everyone all the best. Honestly, I want to see you as finalists and as winners. But yeah, this was excellent. So thank you.
It was the week, it was actually restaurant at Conway Farms, and it was the same week that they had gone on the cover of Northern Virginia magazine.
Like I'm never gonna win.
Well, to add the cherry on top is when we did our video testimonial, everybody was right there afterwards, and I was like, oh, well, there it goes. It's gonna be fine. But I'm on the other side of that. So
that's funny. When we announce the finalists, we do record the videos for the actual program. Those are the ones that are on YouTube. And you'll see other finalists coming in, which is funny. We don't do that on purpose. You just sign up for your slot. But yeah, competition's good for everybody.
Sorry, just one clarification.
Yeah.
So when we put in the application, which includes like the video, and then once you announce the finalists, do those finalists then have additional projects or videos to complete?
Oh, we record you talking about your business. It's
So
for
there's
the event. Yeah. Okay. So it's like it's shown at the event. We cut it down to a minute clip, and you do get to keep that footage afterwards.
So that's a separate video than the one for the application.
Yeah. So Marty Schaub with Loudoun Multimedia records you. We set up in here. We've got a green screen, and he can put footage that you already have in the background. And if you check out the YouTube page, there's good examples of what that would look like.
He's very friendly.
Yeah, it goes pretty quick. It's not too much work, I promise, but it's got a fun experience, a good exercise also, too.
If you make the finalist and you get to do the video, just relax with it. It's seems daunting. I think you guys sent out like a questionnaire of like.
We try to talk you through it. We don't want to give you too many questions at a time because then you sound really rehearsed.
But you don't go in there with any paper or anything like that, so it's all really off the cuff, and so you can read through the questions they're going to ask, but just relax with it and have fun. It's an opportunity to showcase yourself within the business and showcase what the business is in a hopefully friendly environment. So
yeah, we make you look good in the video. Don't worry. We clip everything together.
Marty's gonna work with me, so
yeah. And you're speaking to, if you're a finalist, for this video, you're speaking to one of our team members. You're not just looking at the camera like, I promise.
That's the first thing I think he said to me. He's like, "We're having a conversation."
Yeah.
Like, just tell me what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's really good at editing all the stuff that you know.
And you do get to keep that footage as a finalist, which is nice. So.
If you're a finalist and you're up against beer, should you withdraw?
I don't think you don't know when you're applying who the other finalists are going to be. So don't even think about other people. Just think about yourself.
And once you apply, it's too late.
Yeah,
Exactly. Done what you've done.
Yeah, exactly.
How big is the pool of nominees versus finalists?
Good question. So I don't know the number for this year off the top of my head, but I know for every category we have at least like 30 nominations, and then getting people to apply in different categories. Some categories have way more than that, like nonprofit, service categories. They're extremely competitive. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. I'm just telling you that is, there's a lot of people applying to those categories. So bring your A game if you're gonna do that. But every category has different kinds of businesses, and we do have a couple new. We switched a name on one category, flex locations. Just anybody that's home base, virtual. You don't have an actual storefront. That's what that category is. And the description is similar to what it was last year, which is called something different. And then we have a GovCon category this year, so it's a new one. So hopefully we get plenty of applicants for that. But anything else? We can grab each other at the end if you have questions for specific people, but let's give a round of applause for our finalists. Thank you guys so much for being here and taking the time. All right, feel free to mingle. If you have specific questions about the application, let us know. We can check it out for you. But feel free to mingle. There's sparkling water in the back. And thank you for coming.
Sparkling.
Yeah.